Live. TikTok live. Axel, do your thing. I know you're there. All right, we should be good to go. Good to go. All right, welcome back to Entirely Media Live. I'm your host, Darion Robinson, and we want to thank you for joining us tonight. We also want to apologize for being a tad little late here, but like a fine bottle of wine, it only gets better with a little extra time. I'm with a great panel tonight. Starting from my left, we have Ashley Chevalier,
Hello.
Mr. Kyle Murph,
What's good?
Aaron Miller, and the one and only Chris Lucci.
Unk in the building.
What's up, Unc? We have some great topics tonight. I'm very excited about what this rundown looks like for you guys. And to get started, I want to talk about a situation and a person that really surprised me with the journey he's been on. Coming back has been a hell of a feat, and to my surprise, he's actually exceeded what I thought he'd be able to do. I want to talk a little bit about Jayson Tatum here. We talked about this on several occasions, but it seems like so far the medical staff he put in place did more than their job. Now it's up to Boston and Joe Mazzulla to figure out how the chemistry is going to work with them. Aaron, I want to come to you first here. With Tatum being such a high usage superstar, and now re-entering that lineup, are the Celtics officially the favorite to win in the East with how they looked, or is JT potentially maybe ruining the rhythm? One of the best rhythms we have in the NBA right now.
No. They're definitely the favorites, even after only 2 games. I mean, his shooting efficiency isn't back yet, but his gravity is. Even when he isn't scoring, defenses are shifting towards him, which has opened up wide open lanes for Jaylen Brown and Derek White. Because Jaylen Brown is playing an all NBA MVP level, Tatum doesn't have to carry the load of a traditional number one option immediately. He can function essentially as a $300 million role player, all right, for the next month, allowing that tendon to harden under game stress without the pressure of saving the season. I mean, unlike most Achilles returnees who become like jump shooters in order to avoid the paint, I mean, his first 2 games, you showed him hunting contact. His first bucket against that Mavericks, he tried to punch it on somebody. So this proves he isn't scared of the physical, that mental snap that usually lingers in a player's mind. That fear of, ooh, I don't want to do too much, otherwise I may tear it again.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that, Aaron. And I was definitely pleasantly surprised. It was very impressive the way he's been able to come out and have his debut post injury and everything. Um, I don't know. It's difficult for me to say that they're going to be the favorites because again, like you know me, I'm a big chemistry person. I'm a big like you got to feel each other out. And especially after having a good rhythm, like there wasn't a huge need for him. So then when you put that in there, I think that it's probably going to disrupt things at some point. And everything. So I wouldn't say that they're not my favorites to win. But it definitely puts them in a very interesting position where they could definitely add him, continue the season, and be in a great position for the playoffs.
So I'm curious then, if Ashley, you specifically, obviously we've seen superstars come back too early and ruin the flow, especially on a contending team. We've seen that. At what point do the Celtics start to worry or panic about Jason Tatum being in that lineup? Is it after 3 losses, 4 losses? What does that look like? What do you think?
Um, I mean, I don't know because I think it's going to be hard for us to assess that situation because it's not ever going to just be based on games. It's going to be based on practices, whatever, and everything, and just how the energy. I think that's a big thing too, like what's going on, in the locker room and everything. So I don't think that it's going to be based on losses. It's going to be based on a whole lot of other stuff that we're not going to be able to see.
Very well said. I like that. Does anyone know? Actually, I can find it out real quick. Chris, real quick, I want to bring you in on this because I think Tatum actually entering the lineup, if he was going to enter, is at a really valuable time considering the same game he entered in, Vucevic went out with an injury. So obviously the big man that's supposed to be that guy for them going forward, he's out 3 to 4 weeks, so damn near a month. Do you think that this is? I should ask, how do you see Tatum picking that load up, or does it affect the Celtics in a more positive way because Vucevic is out?
Yeah, great question. I think it helps because you're not interrupting starters or major players' minutes and shots. Give or take shots here or there, but it's easy. It's crazy, man. I remember I was coaching a long time ago, blah, blah, blah. But we had a great player come play with us in the tournament, and one of our starters didn't come, and it was like perfect, right? You were like sliding in somebody that was taking the same starter minutes as someone else, and it all kind of worked out. So I think you have that right now. It's great that it worked out like that so that he didn't have to shave anybody's minutes or point production and things of that nature in these first couple of games. And then it also gives you time. It puts the role on someone else that has to figure out how to get their minutes back, right? When Vucevic comes back, now he'll be the one that has to find his role and his minutes and things of that nature, as opposed to your megastar, Jayson Tatum. So I think that might have definitely helped ease the transition and make it less abrupt.
Good. I like that. Big things for the Celtics coming, in my opinion. I think they look really good. I'm going to side with you on this, Aaron, in terms of I think they're a legitimate contender because they kind of already were, in my opinion. I know we talked about Detroit being that, which we'll talk about here in a second. I just said that, Detroit, when it comes to that playoff season, if they hit a Boston Celtics who's been there before and has that system, I think they're in trouble. So I like JT coming back. Very well said. Any other sentiments that want to be shared before we move along?
I don't got him beating the Knicks.
I
still don't got him beating the Knicks, but
Plain and simple.
As long as he's on a minutes restriction, I don't think he should be. I don't got to beat the Knicks.
Okay. All right. So we talked about, obviously, Jayson Tatum, who was in MVP conversations before and coming back in his journey being amazing. I want to talk about someone that's in MVP conversations now. And if we should, I don't know, look at this in a different light. This question is going to come to you, Chris, specifically because Detroit is your team. That is your squad. Detroit basketball. I get it. But,
everybody.
Exactly. But something that has been shared recently when we look at Detroit is that Cade drops 42 and 13 against the Knicks, and the Pistons barely scrape by because no one seems to create a shot right now. Aaron and I were thinking about this. In moments where Cade doesn't shine, they don't perform well at all. So if Cade Cunningham is the system in Detroit, does that also suggest, Chris, that the downfall of the number one Pistons could be how heavily they're relying on him?
Great question. I don't think so. I think every championship bar team typically has that great player, right? OKC relies on Shea. Yes, we talk about, J-Dub and others that, and Chet can put it in the hole, but ultimately if you remove Shea completely out of that offense, OKC is going to struggle. It's going to be a tough time. But I think what ends up happening is somebody else steps up, right? Because what it would take for you to shut Cade down, you need two players to shut him down, and your offense has to shift based on his movement. And so if your defense is shifting based on his movement with the purpose of shutting him down from scoring, then I mean you're going to leave multiple guys open, and you take pressure off, Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, great shooter, Sewer. Like you got Jaden Ivey. You'll have other guys step up and have big numbers. Think Steph Curry, Andre Iguodala, right? Whole game plan was to take the ball away from Steph and others, and you know what? Let's make Iguodala step up. And what happened? MVP of the finals. So I don't think this whole house of cards concept on the Pistons is accurate. I think they're a very well structured team. And also, here's the other thing: they do it with defense. You know what I mean? It starts for them defensively. It's not just coming out trying to outscore you. So you're still going to have that defensive pressure. You can get points off steals and things of that nature. And ultimately, I think Cade is, he sees a great height, got the ball in his hand. I think that's awesome because he's going to find the open player. He's going to find who's available and make most of the right decisions, which I still see Detroit being very well and not being affected with that strategy.
I want to say, because I like Cade and I like Detroit, I want to say that I believe that they're not a one-trick pony, one-hit wonder. But I mean, it proves like when Cade's on the court, they win 76% of the time. So it's just like, if Aaron talks about all the time, like that gravitational pull that he creates while he's on the court, like not all the time do they actually step up, which is why when he's off the court, like it's not, they're not playing very well when he's off the court. They don't have that gravitational pull. And also when it's like you do have to send 10, like when you send 2 people over there to guard Cade, because that's the best way to stop him is double teaming him. Like it's easier to shoot a wide open shot than a shot when you're contested. So like Cade brings so much attention to him. I think they are a house of cards. Like I think they are one injury away from being obsolete.
Okay, injury. We talking injury or are we talking about defensive strategy? Because you take the best player off of any team. You take Giannis off the Bucks championship run. There's no championship. You take Kawhi off Toronto and their championship run. There's no championship. So if we're talking injury, then yeah, I think most of your contenders are not going to be as strong contenders. I mean, the only person we've really seen do that, carry the load with no other all-star, has been JB, which is why he should be in the, heavily favored for the MVP race. So, but outside of him, take the best player off every team in the entire NBA, and most of them are pretty much all of them are no longer contenders. So if you're saying injury, I agree with you.
I'm just saying with him off the court, if he doesn't show up one night, or if he doesn't show up like playing the game, I hope it's not an injury, like God forbid. But if he doesn't show up, they're not going to win. Like when they play my Knicks, when he doesn't show up. No, when he doesn't show, like when he doesn't show up, when he doesn't perform well, yeah. So like when he played the Knicks, that was he grinded to win that game, and it came down to the last minute, and so that's not feasible to rely on him for a whole series or for a whole season. Like you have to have other people to step up, and I mean it proves like he is literally the engine of that team. Like he's the engine of that team. So it's just like I don't feel like they're contenders without him providing the type of stats that he does every night.
I think I would agree with you from the standpoint he is the engine. But I think in order to win a championship, you got to have that engine. You know what I mean? Like you have to show up. Shaq and Charles were arguing. They had this big argument about Shaq saying that he always played great. He always performed well. He didn't have any bad series, within his career. You have to show up. So I'm going from a strategy standpoint, trying to stop him or limit him, or take him out of the equation offensively. I think teams will get burned because he'll make the right play. And I don't think Cade has to score. I don't think his performance is solely based on scoring. I think he does other things to drive that engine outside of just scoring.
100%. I think he fills a stat sheet.
So, no, go ahead.
Good debate. Keep going.
I got none.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't. I was just gonna switch the subject a little bit. I don't know if you had anything else on that one, D, but Steve Kerr recently made comments about grown-ups win championships, and it felt like they were specifically targeted towards their decision to get rid of Jonathan Kuminga. He argued that while 19 and 20-year-olds can produce empty stats on lottery teams, winning at the highest level requires a level of emotional and tactical maturity that usually comes with age and experience. So, I wonder, do you think he's right, or is he just covering for the Warriors to develop their young lottery picks?
Yeah, I'm passionate about this because I'm pro NBA, but I'm pro player too. And the way he handled this situation, the way the organization handled the situation, to me was terrible and did nothing for Jonathan. So, in terms of this, Steve Kerr can talk about how grown-ups win championships, and honestly, in that statement, I think that he's partially correct. Right? I think there's a grown man or a grown woman level of maturity that matters when you're competing at a high level like that, especially for a ring. But for me, you gotta see it how it really is. Like Kerr is having, to me, and I told Aaron this yesterday, a huge level of, or lack of level of accountability in his statements, especially by Jonathan Kuminga, because he's kind of done this before with other players. Like we had what's bro's name? We had on the pod, Aaron.
Eric
Pascal.
Eric
had the
Pascal.
same sentiments. So it's not a anomaly in this situation where Steve Kerr just wasn't able to develop him. And I get that, you know, again, for me, this shit is just so annoying. Like that grown man statement it really did piss me off because that's a really convenient cop out for the fact that he couldn't and would not develop, to me, a top 10 talent in the league in Jonathan Kuminga. Because you mean to tell me like a 4-time fucking NBA champion coach who's done this for damn near a decade, and to be fair, was on teams that won multiple championships when he was on the Bulls as well. You mean to tell me with that type of mindset, you can't figure out how to integrate a fucking 23-year-old athletic freak of nature into a system with the greatest shooter ever? Like that, to me, that is insane. That is insane. And then you look at like, okay, maybe that statement would have a little bit more validity if Kuminga left and then played poorly on the new team he was on. But he got to Atlanta and showed the hell out. He dropped 21 and 7 and 3 in his first game. He dropped like 20 something the next game, and so on and so forth. And he looks great. It looks like he's having fun. Like he is dunking on people. Like he was doing that before, but now it just looks. Yes, thank you. It looks fluid. It looks phenomenal. And that's why I say he's a top 10 talent whenever he wants to be in terms of that age group. I will say. Let me throw it out there.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's just like I'm starting to believe, and with all due respect to Steve Kerr, I still think he's a hell of a coach and will go down as one of the best coaches ever, right? That resume is very impressive. But just in these latter years, he's starting to become one of those coaches where I think we need to take a deeper look into like why did Golden State really succeed the way they did, and was Steve Kerr, I don't know, actually a huge piece or fundamental piece behind that? Because I do not like the way his coaching philosophy and the things he's done has translated in certain instances like this. So, I mean, that's my opinion on it.
I mean,
any sentiments on that?
Yeah. He said grown-ups win championships. Then how do you explain OKC? Because they were the youngest team in the NBA last year. Still are the youngest NBA team in the league this year. Or if San Antonio or Detroit wins the championship this year, they're mad young too.
Right.
Let me just say this, Steve Kerr, age doesn't define maturity. Your level of responsibility does, right? So this whole Warrior system is a straitjacket. His refusal to let Kuminga play through mistakes in the Bay looks like a massive fumble now, especially now that he's looking like an all-star player. Not this year, obviously, but for next year. It proves that the talent was always there. The coaching trust just wasn't. He didn't develop Kuminga. He suppressed him until he became another team's treasure. All right. Now, let me take it back a little bit between 2020 and 2021. The Warriors had 3 lottery picks: James Wiseman at number 2, Jonathan Kuminga at number 7, Moses Moody at number 14. Kerr in the front office burned the most valuable draft capital in franchise history to build 2 timelines. Right? They tried to bridge the old with the new, right? You can't blame the players when the coach admits on record that he frankly isn't great at developing 19-year-olds and leans on his assistants. If you aren't a developmental coach, you shouldn't be drafting. You should have no say in the draft, right? He is a floor general for legends, not a teacher for rookies. He inherited a Ferrari that Mark Jackson spent 3 years building. And since 2015, the Warriors have had 0 draft and develop all-stars. Drafted 0, developed none. Right? Every time he has needed a young player to step up and take the torch, Kerr has reached for a 35-year-old on a vet minimum to hopefully save this fucking season. Case in point, Kristaps Porzingis.
Shit,
Steve Kerr ain't like black men since MJ punched him.
You saw that, right?
I can see why MJ punched him. I can see why.
You should have been talking shit.
Okay. I like that. I guess, Chris, and again, I like to come to you in certain situations like this because you were able to see legends up close and obviously different eras of basketball. And I think that's the beauty in you being able to have a take on this. My question to you, I don't want to word this. That's. Do you think, based on all the coaches you've seen, and we've talked about this in terms of Eric Spoelstra, Greg Pop, et cetera, do you think that this type of response is the type of response of a coach that has championship DNA?
Is the whoa, okay, D, you word it. Is this the response of a coach with championship DNA? That's the question. I mean, yes. It's you're used to winning, right? You used to winning a particular way, and you've won at different levels as a player and as a coach a particular way. Your way or your system and your style, that you've won championships in has worked. Hadn't been a whole lot of youth. Doesn't mean that he's right in today's game or he's right in as the right lead, if you will, for where potentially Golden State may be transitioning to. We don't like his response. I don't think most of us agree with it, but it doesn't mean that it removes him being a championship level coach. Yeah, I'm a championship level coach this way. You know what I mean? My way is this way. I'm on this street. Give me what I need on this street. I'm going to get it done. Now, you want me to go down over here on this street? No. I ain't doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, I love MJ, but Jordan retired at the top of his game as a world champion because they said, we're going to kind of strip this thing and we're going to go with some youth. Oh, no, I'm good. And he walked away. So it's a competitive spirit mindset. It's not, is it a cop-out and all of those things? Yeah, probably so. But, Kuminga don't fit what I'm trying to do. He's young, so on and so forth. Give me the players that fit this way. This is how I coach. I've delivered on championships. This is how I work. Give me the tools to get it done. So, yeah, it's still championship level coach.
I mean, to add to that question, though, I think that these are remarks that can come from a championship, winning coach and everything. But I don't think that comes from a legendary coach, because your legacy is going to be, how do you respond to the adversities? How do you bounce back? How do you keep up with the times? That's always what's going to make you the best of the best. You continue to do what you have been doing, and I think that's where it's starting to come in question. And similarly to what you said, he came into a pretty good situation, and then to his credit, he's been able to, continue it and grow it and make it something that we've never that the Bay hasn't seen before and everything. So, but I will say that that's the next step into seeing if how he's going to allow this to affect his legacy, because making these comments talking about how you can't go with the roll with the punches, that's just only going to hurt you. So I feel like he's just damaging the greatness that he's proven for him to be as a coach.
Not to mention, this is the same dude that also told Anthony Edwards, if we had the number 1 overall pick, we wouldn't draft you. We had a chance to get Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, so you can go ahead and bridge them 2 timelines, so you can have somebody ready to take the torch once Steph was done playing basketball. But instead, I get it. You picked James Wiseman for a good reason. You needed size, but now he's out the league and has become a rapper, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So, good job.
Nah, I just wish you would just take accountability for it. Just say you fucked up. Just say you messed up. Say you didn't make the right decision. You didn't know how to use them. That's all you have to do. Because like Ashley was saying, he keeps making these excuses, different reasons as to why, and he's kind of using his credibility or his legacy as a crutch now. So it kind of diminishes what he's doing, because it's oh, y'all see what I did. So if I made this decision, then it's not that big of a deal. But it's you got to roll with the times. You got to change times. You want to make sure the league continues, or you just want to do it while you were doing it. You only want the team to be well while you're doing it, or the person afterwards. It looks even better if you pass the baton to the next coach and you have you give the same credit what Mark Jackson did for you. Keep on building that, so now you have a dynasty that you're maintaining for long term. So I just hate the fact there's no credibility, there's no accountability. I meant for coming out of Steve Kerr with the decision he made.
I also think it's completely okay to know that, okay, I'm not the best at developing, but that's when your responsibility as a coach becomes you have to surround yourself with the right staff, but also listen to that staff and implement what they are telling you and let them fulfill what you're lacking. And I think that that's always going to be the problem with coaches or anybody who's in some type of position of power is to listen to the lessers and implement what they're telling you without letting your ego get involved.
Very well said, man. You guys, I tell you. So where do we rank Steve Kerr all time in terms of coaching?
I got Pop number one for me because he was able to not only develop people but also take in vet guys and also turn their careers around or turn them into something that even they didn't think they could be. So for me, it's Pop number one just from that aspect. Obviously, Phil's gonna be up there. Pat's gonna be up. Pat Riley's gonna be up there. Red Auerbach. You know what I mean?
Eric Spoelstra up there.
I will put Eric Spoelstra up there.
Yeah.
He's from that Pop regime. He's able to develop guys, but also take superstars and make it all work.
Yeah. How many people do you think will put Doc Rivers up there?
What are you doing?
You know what?
What are you doing?
No, absolutely not, Kyle. Absolutely not.
Have a happy retirement, Doc. My gosh.
You got to put Pat Riley, or did you say Pat Riley?
Yeah.
I said Pat Riley, yeah.
Chuck Daly, Pistons.
So, but where's Steve ranked, though? You got Steve.
I was going to say, y'all say everybody named but Steve.
Right.
I got him sixth.
Sixth. I got him fifth. I got Pop, Phil, Red, Pat, and Steve.
You're just going straight off titles.
No, that's because if we're going off titles, Phil Jackson would be number one. But I'm going off kind of same thoughts Aaron had. Where I'm going off titles and the way he was able to develop and what that legacy actually looks like in totality. To me.
Yeah, I mean, I would have Chuck Daly ahead of him. I would have Jerry Sloan ahead of him. And then, then the normal guys, Phil, Red, Greg, Popovich, Pat Riley. I think those four are probably the top four. I'm going to go with Chuck Daly. The Pistons team that he did with Isaiah and them, I mean, that was during the era when Boston Celtics were incredible, the Lakers were incredible, and the Bulls were incredible. So to pull 2 titles and should have been 3 is exceptional with basically a bunch of players that were all traded. They were all like ragtag guys. Mm-hmm. So I'd probably have Chuck fourth. And then Jerry Sloan, man, he had a whole style, a whole system over there in Utah. Yeah, he didn't have the championships, but to be at the top of his craft for 2 decades, I mean, that's incredible. And then, like you say, Steve inherited a team that was really good. And I agree, Phil is not, so I was gonna comment on something about with Kerr. Phil has 11 rings or 10 coaching or something like that, 11 total or something like that, or
11 as a coach and 2 as a player.
Okay, so 13. So 11 as a coach. So
stupid.
He hasn't been like the developer, right?
No.
Right. And each time when the situation got where there was going to be a narrative switch in Chicago and LA, what happened to him? He left. Right. And we're arguing that he is arguably the greatest coach that's ever existed in the sport. That's not far off of what Kerr is on and what Kerr is saying. Not saying that I love Kerr's dynamics and where he's, in his choice of words, but it's not far off of the person that set the bar. He was the same way. So I'm not going to. I don't think it kills his legacy.
Let me make sure I'm hearing you right. Are you saying when times were about to get tough, Phil Jackson would jump ship to a team that he knew he could lead that had talent already?
When there was a shift in the personnel, Phil left. When the Lakers were talking about trading Shaq, okay, I'm out. When they were talking about stripping the Bulls roster after winning a championship and saying we're going young, Phil was gone and Jordan was gone. So yes, he left his legacies when the management looked to make a change or shift to get younger. I ain't doing the younger.
Chris, for Chicago, I'm not going to blame him. He didn't leave. They said from the jump, you could go 82-0. You gone. Yeah. So I don't even blame him for Chicago.
But it was essentially because they knew, like, right, we're gonna go younger. We want to try to, do some things different. You don't fit that narrative. I mean, kudos to them to recognize that this dude ain't going for the bullshit. So if we want to get younger and do something different, he ain't gonna sign up for it, or he's gonna do probably a half-ass job, I would imagine.
And you're saying that's similar to Kerr's situation?
Similar from the standpoint of this is the way I do it. Yes, it's very similar. It's almost exact. It's almost identical. It's like I'm coaching vets. I coach a particular way. Phil is only coached, great talent. Yeah, the greatest. Arguably the greatest.
I just feel like there's a difference between like leaving where you feel like your services will no longer like be beneficial to a program, to a team, and like letting your stubbornness drive a program or an organization into the ground. That's kind of like, I don't know. I see it as a little bit different because if it's going to continue to be this way and it's a problem that we continue to see from Kerr and his inability to adapt with times, and what is he going to do? Drive the program, the organization into the ground. So I feel like there's a little bit of difference there, though.
I feel you on that, but you can always you're the management, right? So Aaron made a couple of suggestions about, you drafted these terrible picks. Keep in mind, Kerr is not doing the drafting. The drafting is done upstairs. He's doing the coaching. And so management and coaching doesn't always have to be on the same page. They can be. They can try to be. Okay, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you jump in. But they don't always have to be on the same page. And there's often discussions and you may set a picture of like, this is what we really want to do. And the coach may have input and influence in that. But ultimately, management can determine, the GM is your job. It's going to weigh on you who you draft. It's your draft record, not the coach's. It doesn't go on his record for who we drafted and who we didn't draft. But go ahead, Aaron.
Well, you said it. You said management and coaching when it comes to drafting are separate. All right. I coach what the front office draft me, but you don't think that he has a hand in who he wants or tells the front office to draft. Particularly, I'm looking for guys to fit this system.
Yes. Listen, he automatically, hey, this is what I would love. But ultimately, that's your job. And if it works or if I do a great job with who you draft, awesome. You look like a genius. If I do a shit job with who you draft, you got two choices. Either suck it up and say, I better draft people that my coach likes, or make a change with my coach. Now, that is how the NBA works. Now, we can do whatever our thoughts are and opinions, but that's how the league operates.
All right, I just want to make sure we was on the same page, because I know when it comes to drafting players, I don't want to make it seem like, it's the coach has no say in who is on this team. I just want to make sure you wasn't trying to say that.
No, I mean, every coach, and then we'll move on, D, but all coaches, they would desire and love for their input to be in there, right? And to be honest, all coaches would rather you make a trade for another great impact player. 90% of all coaches are not looking to, hey, bring this young guy in and let me develop him. No, because they're graded and their legacy is determined based on the success of that team. Most coaches don't survive the transition from we suck, we're shitty, and you're trying to get better to 3 years later when you develop into a great player. You know what I mean? Like, who's coaching the team for the Pistons right now? Bickerstaff, right? Yeah. He wasn't there when they were rookies. You know what I mean? It never translates. Like, hell, the GM is not even there who drafted those players. So most of the time, you don't live out that long-term development. The organization will, but management and or coaches, coaches for sure. Coaches are based on winning most of the time, and you move to the next.
I'm glad you said that because players are based on that too. And this is pretend I'm very naive, because right now I'm going to be very naive to this whole situation. But Chris, you're saying that Phil was the master, and but was, in my opinion, the master of strategic exit, right? And we've seen this now in light we're seeing him as what we're calling a genius, right? One of the greatest coaches ever because of that mindset. But when it comes to players like Bron, KD, and others that have adopted that same mindset and doing what's best for them and their legacy to win, it's now the biggest stain on said legacy, and we're calling them snakes and now questioning their loyalty and where they rank all time. So why is it such a heavy double standard for players and coaches?
Because you got fan involvement. Fans are making decisions and giving opinions, and so that's a greater number of people that's being involved in that. That's fans and or media. From the standpoint of coaches and executives, I mean, that's management. So you get fired. You know what I mean? The fans don't have anything to do with your job security, but your legacy and opinions and things of that nature in the media, often that's fan-based. But I'd love to hear what the panel has to say about that.
No, that makes sense. They
I
actually playing. People be forgetting about the coaches.
Right.
So you got to make a lot of noise to become a coach. You have to be a coach that is coaching those LeBrons, Kobe's, and stuff to be a lot of times even in the media.
I like that. Just one caveat to that. Speaking of which, since we're on the subject of coaching, I heard a coach say actually just the other day that one of his biggest regrets in coaching, and he has damn near none, was the year and I can't remember his fucking name. I can see his face. The year he coached for the Knicks, and he was asked to tank, and he agreed to tanking. What he didn't realize, thank you. What he didn't realize in the moment was the post life of tanking, because coaches are judged on their resume. They're judged on what that number looks like in terms of wins and losses. And when you tank, obviously that number drastically changes. And what that led to next was him not being able to get as many coaching jobs or opportunities. Any thoughts on that, especially because we're in a league now where tanking is heavily scrutinized?
Who's the coach before we go?
Dave Fizdale.
Oh, Fizz. That's my boy Fizz too. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. No, go ahead. Somebody else go on that. Damn.
I mean, say the question one more time.
I just want your sentiments on that, especially because we're now in a tanking phenomenon.
Well, for one, if a front office comes to me and I'm the coach and said, we're tanking this year because this team and roster ain't worth a damn. All right, we ain't finna win nothing, even if y'all tried 110% for all 82 games. We ain't gonna win that much. So we're gonna tank, get a high draft pick, and that's the season. Now, if I'm the coach, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. But I need to know this ain't going to be reflected bad on me. All right. I don't want y'all coming down the road talking about, yeah, we've gone in a different direction. I don't think you're just equipped to, coach this team. How the fuck would you know? You're the one who told me to take all these L's. Now, not only am I losing, I'm jeopardizing my opportunity to get another coaching job. And 3, now you're telling me I'm not even going to get a chance to rebuild? That don't sound right. Like the Utah Jazz coach, it's clear what the niggas are doing. But I don't think that coach is going to get fired. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure he had a conversation with the Utah front office saying like, all right, bet we going to lose. Get a high draft pick. AJ DeBanster. Come on down. All right? I just want to make sure I'm here to coach him. Y'all ain't finna fuck up what I got going on in terms of down the road for future coaching opportunities. I don't like that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm with you. I'm with you, Aaron. Here's the thing. His agent, I don't know who his agent was, probably a great agent because it's like 2 agents that control all of them, but did a shit job. Immediately when he found out that he was supposed to be tanking, he should have got with his agent, sat down with that front office, and got a fucking 3 to 5 year extension on whatever contract he had at that time. So, okay, y'all gonna tank and y'all might ruin my career. You're gonna fucking pay me for it if I can't get another job. You feel me? That's what should have been the sentiment.
That's
damn,
I need to have a talk with a front office. We need to have a talk.
I mean, all the coaches are expendable. So, like, it's a business at the end of the day, trying to do whatever best they can do for them. So, he should have known better. I'm not a coach. I ain't I'm not gonna let somebody tell me to do some of my job without knowing I have some
security,
like job security in the future. Like, I don't make no sense. He's gonna be like, all right, cool, I'm a tank. And then I don't know, that doesn't make sense. No sense to me. Just like tank it with and thinking there's gonna be no pushback to it. Like, I don't know. You everybody's expendable in the league.
And then on top of that, even with that, like limited job security, because it would be maybe a couple years, and then in those couple years you have to do something and have positive impact, because then otherwise it's just blemish after blemish after blemish on your resume. So you're really just flipping a coin in the air. So it really doesn't even make sense, on top of it not making any sense.
Good take, man.
Oh my God, where's my air horn?
Right, yeah, where you at?
Hey, now. All right, great take. All right, that said, I mean, obviously, going back to the original thing here was addressing Steve Kerr and his comments, and obviously still giving praise to what the Warriors were able to build. The main guy, obviously, behind that has been Steph Curry. Reports surfaced earlier. Howard Beck, I think it was, revealed that Curry is mentally preparing himself to transition into more of a bench role as he nears the end of his career, right? Turns 38 this month, actually, in 5 days. So happy early birthday, Steph. But told him he could be a role player and come off the bench, emphasizing that the priority as, retiring a Warrior, which he wants to do, that's clear as day, is also being aware of the sentiment that he's becoming a traffic cone defensively. And no one's ever said that Steph was great at defense. I've always said at least he tries, though. So with that being said, Ashley, does that make him, knowing that, the most self-aware superstar in NBA right now? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, right now, absolutely, because we got another one somewhere else on the same coast.
I knew I could trust her to do this.
That's the same thing I was thinking.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, no, definitely. You have a situation where like there needs to be some selflessness going on in a different organization. And I think that's what did we talk it? What did you say? Something exit earlier in the I forgot, like a graceful exit.
Strategic exit.
And everything. Yeah, strategic exit. Like, and that's part of the strategy. Like, start like lowering your role on the team, or just understanding that it's going to become a different part and everything. So I don't know. I think that when you see that, it just shows that, they know that it's mindset. Like, and and that just tells me that other players in those positions are very aware, and I'm sure people are having conversations, and I'm sure it's not just something that fans are talking about or people are talking about without like these star players knowing that. So I think that it's commendable to have that self-realization, and I think that a lot of other players in general just need to have that, because it will improve your career drastically if you can have some understanding of who you are and what you are really bringing to the table.
Okay, for the chat, just in case no one is aware of what's going on here, I just want to fill you guys in that what she's referring to is that we feel, or some of us feel on the panel, I would say who.
Yeah, I ain't saying his fucking name.
Is that should probably take a more reduced role on the Lakers, because they seem to look just a little bit better without him on the floor or on the court or whatever, in the lineup, starting lineup, but however you want to look at that. Aaron, any thoughts on this whole situation?
I mean, it's going to make, he is the most self-aware superstar. All right, Steph Curry with those comments. All right, selfless to be exact. I mean, if you move him to the bench, he's going to play like what? Well, first of all, if he gets moved to the bench, it's going to be like one of those Lou Will, Jamal Crawford situations where it's like, yeah, you're a 6-man, but you still going to be playing like 30, 35 minutes. Yeah. Or is he going to be like an actual 6-man and play like 20 to 25? Because that's the case. That's high intensity basketball. And the last thing a team wants to face is Steph Curry playing against the second unit, where I can just go crazy against the scrubs and just pull whenever. That's the last thing I think anybody wants. I'm pretty sure, other teams would be like, no. We'd rather him start. I'd rather deal with you for 30 to 35 minutes against my first unit than to deal with you for 20 to 25 against my second unit. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. Chris, I know you got something.
Yeah, smart move. I like that, Steph. What it does is it helps build like a team unity. Oh, we see you. We see you, Black Mom. But I think it helps build team unity, right? Coming off the bench, you got a young guy who's pressed about starting. Wants that role, want to hear his name called. You give that young player the opportunity to hear his name called and get 10 starts, 20 starts, 30 starts under his belt, which is valuable when you're looking for free agency and value and things of that nature. So you add that. I made my money. I'm good. I don't have to start. He probably played very similar minutes as Aaron has already spoke about, but you give that luxury of somebody having their name called. And so now they may play at a different level. Steph would probably play the same minutes, probably wouldn't have much of a effect on him in the team, but it would drive team unity. It would drive one player at least, being able to have the opportunity to feel like he's a star. And I think it's overall good for the team. I'm not going to comment on anybody else because I don't agree with LeBron coming off the bench. So we'll just say that. I'll get that out the way. But I will say this kind of sidebar question. Obviously, we kind of seeing this. So if Chris Paul would have took a different approach, I guess we all imagine that he might still be with the Clippers.
He did take a different approach, though. He came off the bench in Golden State. He was coming off the bench on the Clippers.
San Antonio.
He was just bringing his 20 years in the league experience. I mean, he has earned that right, in my opinion, to have a voice in the locker room, any locker room. So
I agree, but I mean, was it because of the year? The retirement year. Was it essentially they needed him to not have that voice? To not have a voice, I guess?
Yeah, that's probably what it was, because they literally could not justify why they essentially waived or released him. All right. I guarantee this. I'm not going to guarantee. This is probably what happened. He was probably overstepping a boundary in terms of leadership, knowing that at the time, this is Kawhi and James Harden's team, right? He probably told them what to do in some fashion or manner, or maybe told another player in some fashion or manner that obviously was playing more minutes to him. He was probably saying something to the coaching staff, to the front office, whatever the case may be, like, this is how we need to do things. And they said, that's it. I've had enough. I'm tired of hearing from your black ass every fucking day. All right. All right. So in the middle of the night, like a thief, they said, get this motherfucker out of here. Just go. Wrote the check and said, have a good day.
Yeah, we need a little soundbite for you. Anytime you start to say, let me tell you what happened. This is probably what happened. I need a story time with Aaron kind of soundbite.
Story time.
Jesus.
I don't think Steph will ever come off the bench.
No.
I just don't think he'll ever come off the bench. I think he was just saying that it just shows his humility of the fact, like, the type of player he is. Like, everybody knows he doesn't have any blemish on his career almost at all. So it shows the type of person he is. I commend him for that. But surprisingly, I know y'all be surprised when y'all said a superstar with a lower role. I was thinking Westbrook. I didn't even think LeBron. I was thinking Westbrook because Westbrook he's a superstar on a vet minimum right now, on the worst team in the league, but also still playing. He's playing he came off the bench. He was starting behind Dennis Schroeder. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's been doing a lot of like humble stuff that has been like a mark on his career, where people basically said he's ass, and he was out of the league until like the last month before the season started. So I think Westbrook's in the same category when it comes to humility as Curry.
Great job, Murph. I agree.
Wow, well said from the Murph Factory. I will also say, just kind of circling back to, I guess, the original question. I was just saying this to Aaron yesterday when we were writing this, excuse me, is that for a lot of these guys that we look at as being superstars, this is probably, when they go into that transition, that will probably be the first time that they've never heard their name in the starting lineup since probably the beginning of ever, right? I mean, or the beginning of basketball. And so, I mean, rightfully so, they deserve that level of ego when this time comes around. And plus, for a lot of the NBA players outside of, Mr. Most Efficient Kevin Durant, like, basketball is a game of rhythm. And so a lot of these superstars, a lot of talent, they need shots. they're used to getting them for so long, like 5, 6, 7 shots instantly in the first quarter, maybe going into the second quarter to find their rhythm, and then now you're suddenly not getting that unless you're in that role like Aaron was talking about, where you're a 6-man, but you're not really a 6-man kind of thing. So I feel for him. I will always feel for superstars like that. It's tough. Anything else before we go right into Westbrook then?
I mean, you got to hit Black Mall's comment for sure.
What homie say? Hold on. Chris, didn't I see you on a Soul Man documentary about Sonny Vaccaro? Chris.
Yo, Black Mall nephew. Yes, you did. Proud to have been a part of that work. Sonny Vaccaro, that's my unk, if you will. Great documentary if you guys haven't checked it out. One of the ESPN 30 for 30s. Awesome deal.
Let's clap it up for my guy. Don't worry, I got you now. Hold on.
I'm waiting for the soundbite.
What's up?
Oh, well done. Well done.
I completely forgot about that.
Yes. Great. All right. So, Kyle, thank you so much for the transition. Westbrook is actually on our topic list today as being the greatest, and I mean the greatest player in Oklahoma City history. Some people are saying that's not him and it's SGA now has overtaken him, which I guess we'll talk about. Completely don't agree with that. But these comments actually stem from Dwayne Wade on March 7th, saying that in terms of a legacy war, I mean, despite SGA leading the Thunder, especially a young team, to the finals and everything he did last season, especially being an MVP, finals MVP, and being the most consistent player we saw last year in the NBA, when it comes to that franchise, the GOAT is right now probably still going to be for the foreseeable future, Russell Westbrook. With that being said, and with everything that SGA has accomplished, Aaron, starting with you, what more does SGA have to do to solidify himself above Russ as the greatest OKC player ever?
Well, that's the thing. So SGA in one season last year accomplished everything a player dreams of accomplishing: scoring title, MVP, finals MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. He stacked the trophy case last season. But I always say this: sometimes your cultural impact is bigger than the game of basketball. Westbrook stayed in the darkest hours after Kevin Durant left, proving a level of loyalty that defined the franchise as a whole. I mean, SGA may have won the ring, but he did it with a war chest of assets, right? That Westbrook never had the luxury of using. We remember those OKC teams. It was basically him out there. Him and Oklahoma City, they grew up together. The rage and intensity of Russ's game, it mirrored the small market of us against the world mentality. So you can't replace a decade of emotional connection with a single playoff run. All right. It's how I view AI in Philly. Like, as much as, Dr. J is the one that I would say probably put Philly on the map, him and Moses Malone. But when you think about the most popular player in Philadelphia Sixers history, the first person that probably comes to mind, I would say just as much as Dr. J, is Allen Iverson, even though he didn't win a ring and only has one MVP and some scoring titles, because his cultural impact was just that big. He was the NBA's rock star from 1996 to about 2008 or something like that. For a decade, he was the rock star of Philly.
I love that. I was telling Kyle, the only thing that could get him close to Russ in this situation would probably be time, right? He has accomplished so much. I award him that sentiment, but at the same time, when you, as Aaron just mentioned, when you've done as much as you did in Russ and OKC, there's that level of I don't even know how to describe this because it's so tough. But I mean, essentially, when you talk about greatest players ever, especially in a franchise, I mean, a trophy is not the only thing that matters in that discussion. Russ holds records. Russ broke records. He was excitement for that team. He was the heart of that team. And I think that's the only thing for me, besides the time aspect, that I don't necessarily see in Shea. Russ gave it his all. He made you emotionally attached, at least from OKC fans' perspective, to that team. Like Aaron was saying, in the darkest hour. I don't really get that from Shea outside of him being a fucking phenomenal basketball player. So it's hard for me to connect to that. And so when you look at that and you talk about the cultural aspect of it, Russ will always be that for OKC. unless, Shea gives that personality aspect to it, or just, goes out and gets, 4 or 5 more championships, and then it's like clear as day when you're looking at stats and debates. But even so, like, that's only going to take you so far. So I don't see Russ ever not being that, at least again for the foreseeable future. Go ahead, Chris.
You get a little pushback on that. I'm with you from the standpoint that definitely need time and things of that nature. I guess I would describe it like this. I mean, well, first of all, if SGA wins another title or MVP, then I think the debate's over, right? It's over. If he wins either one, I don't think he has to win multiple. Another title or MVP, I think the debate's over. But this is kind of how I see it. I see it as like Westbrook built the identity of OKC basketball. And then SGA is building the championship legacy. Or one might say Russ built the house. SGA might own the deeds. That would kind of be my take. I mean, you can't, I think they're both playing a part in the legacy of OKC, right? I mean, remember, OKC was basically a new team that came into the league, from Seattle. So the identity of OKC, there you go, you got Russ. But now that championship level, that's all SGA.
I don't know. My take is because I looked up what the definition of legacy is, and it said legacy is money, property, or intangible impact. And I think that's going to always be the conversation or the argument when it comes to Russ. Like the impact that he had goes so far beyond stats and everything. And I think that's undervalued in everything that we talk about when we talk about sports. Like it's always, like he's got this many points, he's been in the league this many years, he's done this, he's done that. But like, what has he done for the fans? What has he done for the community? And that is such a big thing, because when you can build that, at the end of the day, that's really what organizations want. Yes, they want rings, but they want the love. They want people to be there. They want that community, because that drives so much more than people really realize. So for me, it's always going to be Russ.
Same. Because just like Jayson Tatum, when he got injured last year, nobody expected Jaylen Brown to do anything. So when KD got traded, no one expected OKC to do anything. And Russ, like, stepped in those shoes and still made, like, that small market, like, still, like, ESPN, front page, because, like, he was still playing with, like, all his heart, doing everything he could. I mean, he didn't win nothing, but he did average a triple-double for multiple years back to back to back, and then made it to the point where that became just like, oh, he just got a triple-double. People started criticizing that. Like, he's done so much for OKC that, like, even though SGA did get the chip and he's an amazing player himself, but he doesn't have that personality and just that pull when it comes to the crowd. Not the overall crowd. He got the young crowd because it's fashion and TikTok and all that stuff, but the overall crowd, I don't think he's got that pull yet.
Do you think, this comment right here, actually, do you think one of the stains on why, because you guys are bringing up some excellent points in terms of his impact on OKC and his impact in the league too, but do you think his inefficient scoring is probably his biggest knock against why we don't give Russ more respect? Or the media, I should say, not us.
Yeah,
it does.
Because it's not just because, like, his overall field goal percentage, his 3-point field goal percentage, his free throw percentage, it helps enhance big media's narrative. Oh, he's stat padding. It makes the argument like, oh, he's not playing ethical basketball, or he's not looking for the best shot for himself or his teammates. He's just trying to get that triple-double, which is far from how Westbrook even, like, thinks. I doubt he's thinking about, like, oh, I got to get a triple-double tonight. During that whole 4 years where he was averaging one, he was doing that from a standpoint of, look who the fuck I got around me, y'all. Like, I have no choice but to get 30, 10, and 10. Like, and the big media was just too stupid to fucking realize that. I'm gonna ask y'all, who else is on that team?
Oh, so you had my dad, Andre Roberson. You had my dog. Exactly. You had my dog Steven Adams. Who else? He had a couple. What with
Who was
Jeremy
the GOAT?
Lamb? He had a couple people.
Oh, he ended up getting. Hold on, it depends on when.
He ended up getting Paul
KG
George.
and Carmelo.
I'm talking about from that MVP year up until he left OKC.
Paul George.
Name the starting five. Name the coach.
Oh, that was the dude with the hair.
Yeah.
Dude with the face.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Okay.
So that's why for me, I don't care about the efficient scoring shit because most of the time when it's an inefficient score, you have to take a look at who's around him. All right. When Kobe Bryant was going on that crazy ass run of January where he averaged like fucking 50. And the first thing people looked at, well, yeah, he's just chucking up a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Look who's on the team, y'all. Who is he supposed to pass it to? You heard what he said. The reason why I didn't pass it to you because I've seen your work ethic. I don't trust you. Simple as that.
I think another thing that kind of puts a blemish on Westbrook's career is the fact that he's never, besides that MVP run, been definitively the best player on his team. He's always been possibly the best player. Like he had to play with KD. Then he was on Paul George when Paul George still had some gas in his tank. He wasn't the best player on the team. It was still an argument. Then he went over to James Harden. James Harden was the best player in that team. Westbrook was not the best player. So I think he's always been arguably the best player, and he's never been like the KD on the team. Or what you looking at me like that for? Am I wrong?
Me? Yeah.
Kyle, I think you're making a valid point minus the MVP year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's what I said. Minus the MVP year, he's never been definitively the best player. He's never been like, oh, it's Westbrook's team. No, it was Bradley Beal's team. And then people said that it was Bradley Beal's team. I'm gonna say Westbrook brought him to the playoffs because Bradley was injured, but that was Bradley Beal's team.
Even
only time you don't think there was any years in OKC he wasn't the best player, even when KD left.
He said minus his MVP year.
Minus his MVP year.
He was only there 1 year without a superstar.
Yeah, 2016, 2017. That season.
Paul George came in 2018.
Yeah.
And that was when Paul George finished third in MVP voting. So for 2 years before Paul George got there, he was definitively the best player. But once Paul George got there, it was like,
whose team is it? And then, I'm not gonna put Melo in that situation. No disrespect, but Melo was a role player at that time. But I think that puts a blemish on his game too because he has the stats, but it's just he always played with better players.
Hasn't Kyrie though too?
I was just about to say the same thing. Kyrie, he same thing. People say this bronze team is this, but Kyrie was a major player for that. So was Kevin Love and all them. But Kyrie he's a superstar talent, but he's just playing under LeBron. So it's just like I feel like Westbrook falls in that same category. Superstar talent, he just plays under these other superstars in this league of just greatness.
That's you know what? Shit, we talked about doing individual videos. Kyle, you should probably do that for the channel. That's a great take. You and Aaron can take that. Great, Kyle. Man, look at you doing some good things. Okay, pivoting just a little bit, and Chris, I want to talk to you about this one. I'm going to leave with Kyle first, but I'm very interested to see how you take this because if we're discussing SGA's greatness, one of the narratives that's been pushed for the last couple of years is the amount of times he's able to get to the free throw line and what people are calling foul baiting. Mike Brown, obviously coach of the New York Knicks, just shared his thoughts on the situation when they lost 103-100 on the fourth. He threw a little bit of shade there, just saying he was frustrated with the missed offensive calls that SGA is not getting and the amount of times he's getting that whistle. So is he a master manipulator? And if so, Kyle, how can, in my opinion, I want to ask you, how can Mike Brown call out SGA when his best player, Jalen Brunson, is doing the same damn thing?
So I think from the surface, if you look at it just like foul baiting, then yes, Mike Brown does look crazy saying that. But I think it's different because Jalen Brunson actually gets hit. Like he actually looks for the bump and he is bumping. He's getting fouled. He's actually getting hit with it. Like when he's in the paint, he has craftiness, footwork, and all that good stuff. He gets people off the ground. He leans into them. A lot of times there's clips of SGA shooting. He didn't get touched, but he looks like he's shooting all crazy and he's flopping. And then they implemented this rule of the no flopping rule so you can it can deter people from doing it. But I don't think the refs want to do that because then it messes up the game still. So it's just like, I think it's because I'll take actual skill of foul baiting over theatrical foul baiting. And I think SGA is more theatrical more than his skill behind it when it comes to creating the foul, not so much of a player, but when it comes to creating a foul, it's a lot of like theatrics to it. And then Brunson is actually drawing the contact.
Yeah, no, D. I agree a little bit to what you're saying, Aaron. I think so. Y'all know Mike Brown's my guy, right? So I about to crush Mike Brown, right? So a little bit of hypocritical, yeah, a little bit, but I ain't mad at it, right? Because your job as the coach is to fight for your players. Your job as the coach is to, let your players know you're fighting for them as well, but then fight for them so you can set the tone and ultimately you're trying to win by any means necessary. I don't give a shit what I look like. You guys ever watch boxing? Boxing has unique rules, right? The most technical boxers are all-time greats. Sugar Ray Robinson, Floyd Mayweather, Sweet Pea Whitaker, James Toney
Davis.
Right. So, and it's like a lot of them were criticized as not being like knockout guys because the rules don't say I got to knock you out. The rules say if I line my more punches and be more consistent, then most of the time I'm going to win that round. Well, it's the same concept. Foul baiting, that's part of the rules. You guys are calling these fouls. Let me take advantage of it. And so you don't like the foul baiting? You got to adjust the rules in a way that, that they can't get away with it. The flopping is one thing, but maybe you have to make some more adjustments to that if you want to change. But I'm totally okay with what Mike Brown has done. That's coaching. Fight for you guys.
Yeah. Which is why I've kind of found the whole thing. It was widely ironic because I see Jalen Brunson and SGA. They're both masters of the same craft. They just do it in different ways, right? And like last season, Brunson ranked in the top 5 for free throws per game. His play style is built on the same principles, seeking contact, doing that head snap on drives, and stopping short that forces trailing defenders to essentially run into the back of them. But like you said, it's the coach's job to defend him, which Brown did for putting his body on the line to take charges. I don't know if y'all know this, but Jalen Brunson leads the league in charges taken.
That's what I'm saying. He gets the contact.
But I just don't like the fact like he's often criticized by opposing coaches for flopping into those charges, right? So by calling out SGA for convincing the refs, I mean, he's ignoring that Brunson is arguably the best in the league at selling defensive contact to get an offensive foul call.
Two sides to every story.
I mean, in the last 3 seasons, in the last 3 years, the last 3 previous seasons, SGA is shooting 9 free throws a game. And he's the top from everybody. So it's just like, are all those actual fouls? Or are they theatrics to it? So like what did he say? Black Mall, he said like he's the perimeter version of Joel Embiid. So I think that's accurate. Everybody knows that Joel be baiting, trying to get the refs to get the call, and you don't even get touched. So like that's where I don't respect it.
Here's where my argument for that is, Kyle. You said he's led the league the past 3 years in free throws a game, right?
And yeah, an average last 3 years.
All right,
yeah.
but did you also know he also leads the league in drives per game? So statistically, you cannot lead the league in drives and not lead in free throw attempts. So if Mike Brown wants the whistle to stop, tell your defenders, stop reaching and slide your motherfucking feet. All right? You know what he's going to do. You know he's going to try to do some bullshit. So you're going to have to play the most pristine defense ever. I'm talking you can't even breathe heavy on this nigga. All right? If he smells what you have for breakfast this morning, you know you're getting a flagrant.
All right?
So
crazy.
So you need to stay solid. You know,
but as a defender, you already are at the disadvantage as a defender. So if you're already at a disadvantage because you're playing defense, you have to be even more defensively. Like that doesn't like that's just making it too one-sided for the offense. That's why people don't
follow
play
what
defense.
San Antonio's doing because apparently they figured it out.
They got a 7'9" tree just standing in the middle of
and you got 2 7-footers down there.
I don't. we got one 7-footer. Cat don't.
No,
go
you
down
got two. When you got Robinson and Cat in, that's two
there. That's what I say,
7-footers.
Cat don't go down there. He don't go down
No, he don't go down there on offense, but on defense, he's down there.
there. Yeah, but nah, I'm just saying. I just feel like you're already at a negative when it comes to playing defense, and then you're gonna tell me now I can't even breathe on this man, which is just crazy because it's just like you can see he's not getting touched, but if you slide or if you slide extra, he's not getting touched, and it'll be like foul, and you get 2 free bunnies. So it's just I don't like it.
Ashley, our points no matter how you get them.
Yes,
I mean,
I'll do that.
yeah. Yes.
I don't care how you get to the money, as long as you get the goddamn money. What the fuck, like?
Man got an archive and just fucking.
I know.
Like, come on now. I'm thinking from a scorer's mindset. I don't care how I get the 30, as long as I get the 30.
Yeah,
It's a level of scoring. So if I have mastered it, you're not gonna fucking make me feel bad about how I get it done.
Oh no, I feel you, Hall of Fame. I'm just saying it's just like when you got you in 4K, you can't. If you got you in 4K, it's just hard to accept it. If it's like, oh, I got fouled, and then they run the replay, you can't take the foul back. But they already called it, and you didn't get touched. It's like, oh man, like how many times have you really not gotten fouled?
That ain't my problem. It's not my fault. I'm an Oscar-nominated actor. All right.
Oh, no.
When it comes to getting to the free throw line.
I'm not saying it needs to be, bully basketball and beating people up on defense, but I think there needs to be a good middle because it don't need to be. Who's that? Bill Laimbeer, who used to just assault
niggas in
Detroit basketball. Yeah, that was Bill.
It don't need to be that, but it also doesn't need to be as far as I feel like it's always two extremes when it comes to the NBA. It's either too much or too little, and they need to find like a good gray area because it's just like. You can't call that every time because it slows the game down. One, it's not fun. Fans are starting to catch on to it, so now you're gonna probably lose money. And after that trickle effect of everything that happens, like you got to change it because you're not an actor. You're a basketball player. So if you're trying to win an Oscar, you need to go somewhere else. That's how I feel, at least.
Then I say this: you need to blame the NBA because the only thing the offensive players or the guys that are good at getting to the line are doing is they found a loophole in the rules. They read the defensive rule book and said, "Oh. That's what counts as a foul. Let's see how I can figure out how to pull it off in a game." That's what James Harden did. That's what Kobe Bryant did. That's what KD did. Brunson, SGA, Luka, Austin Reeves. All they did was find a loophole in the rules and said, all right, since that counts as a foul, I know how to get that contact and I know how to get the ref to blow the whistle. Just because I'm taking advantage of that rule doesn't mean you can lay me as a foul baiter. Blame the goddamn NBA for putting that shit in and making these defensive shit so strict.
But they have a rule in place.
Hold on, let me.
But they have a rule in place. They just don't call it.
Yeah, I mean,
the rule is in place.
Aaron is right. I mean, like you say, from a fan, I knew you was gonna post that shit. I knew you was waiting to post that. I'm like, I saw that pop up. I'm like, oh, he can't wait to post this.
Like a schoolgirl.
Yeah, like right. Okay. Anyway, so. An NBA skill is being able to get fouled. Like real talk, the scouting report, man, this is crazy. Damn, what's our boy for that was just on the pod with us in LA?
You got Tony Allen. You got
Zebo.
No,
Theo
interviewed.
We anybody interview someone? Oh, Lou Will.
Lou Will.
Yeah.
Lou Will's scouting report when he was coming out, although he's pissed that he was second round pick, but his whole scouting report was, and obviously he came out of high school, was he had a way to get to the free throw line. There was other guys. He talked about guys that he was, in the draft, Monte Ellis and guys like that. They were better scorers. Like they were more efficient, just like scoring in bunches. But what Lou Will did was get to the free throw line. And they saw that, the NBA team saw that as an actual NBA skill. So if an NBA skill is getting to the free throw line, based on whatever the rules are, that's an NBA skill that translates.
No, yeah, I feel that. No, I'm saying getting to the line is one thing. Like you're supposed to, my fault, it's my last statement. You're supposed to get to the line. That is a skill, and that is something that you need to have. But I'm saying if there is no foul and it's theatrics that are getting you to the line, that's where I disagree. If you're getting fouled like Brunson, like he's getting fouled, he's using his talent to manipulate you from getting off the guard. Like if you jump, all right, cool, I'm gonna lean into you. That's a foul. All right, boom, I'm at the line. But if you're not getting touched and you're doing all the theatrics and throwing your head back and doing all that extra stuff, that's not basketball. That's the part I'm saying. And they implemented this
for fans, is what you're saying. But it's legal. It works. Yeah,
it's dumb.
Yeah. Okay. What's interesting to me is that you brought up numbers earlier on this subject, Aaron. Just that SGA leads the leagues in drives, and I looked up. He gets fouled on almost 10% of that, or at least gets a whistle on almost 10% of those drives. Anthony Edwards gets his whistle about 12%, though he takes less drives. So, I mean, it's always interesting to me to see those numbers in real time.
Incredible.
Anthony Edwards, by the way, had a statement, and we talk about players being able to transition to other leagues and however that narrative goes. But he did say that if he gets a ring before he turns 30, he's definitely going to try to play football. So if you're a Wolves fan, are you rooting for a ring if it means losing your superstar to, let's say, the Vikings?
Chris, you go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I mean, I want the ring any damn way we can. Ask Toronto about rings, right? They got a ring with Kawhi. They ain't seen Kawhi since. They happy they still talking about that championship run. So give me the ring. Leave, stay, whatever. Give me the ring, right? You know what I mean? Franchise getting a ring by any means necessary. That being said, I think it's super fun and cool that Ant-Man talks about this. He has probably the best personality in the entire league. He's always being fun and talking a little shit and calling people out. And his commercials are just
amazing,
exceptional, if you will. So I love this. I love that he's going around. I mean, LeBron used to talk about that. LeBron actually played football. He used to talk about that. So, athletes talking about playing other sports, it's a normal thing. You used to have it in my day and Unk day. It was always athletes talking about what? Rapping. And rappers always talking about what? Being athletes. So I like it. It's all entertainment.
I mean, it depends on if you're both a Vikings and a Wolves fan at the same time. If you're excited about this, to be honest. I mean, I think the better question is, do we think he can actually make an NFL team and thrive in the NFL?
Hell no. No, I don't think so.
I say he can. You want to know why, Kyle? Because there's a history of basketball players making the transition from basketball to football and having thriving careers. I'm going to throw out some names. Chris, yo guy. Antonio Gates.
Hold on.
Blueprint of it.
Yes.
Tony Gonzalez. Julius Peppers. Jimmy Graham. Mo Ali Cox, etc. All right, those are just a few. I mean, he's 6'4", 225 pounds, 40-inch vert, and he has the physical profile of a Hall of Fame wideout. That's Megatron type shit right there.
And he stopped playing football at 10 years old.
But guess what? When he did play football, he was the #1 player in Pop Warner.
He stopped playing football at 10 years old. I think he could have.
So Jordan stopped playing baseball when he was like 14 and picked it back up.
Trash. And he went over there and played terribly. So
still made it to the majors. He still made it.
Jordan, who wouldn't take the best player to ever play basketball and put you in a team? No.
What about Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson?
Yeah, but these people played for a long time before they decided to make their pick. They played and then decided to make their pick.
Tone Gates didn't play. There was a whole college gap. He had played in high school, skipped no college, and then played for the San Diego Chargers. And
it happens.
There's anomalies out there
all the time in the NFL, Kyle.
Jimmy Graham too.
Exactly. They find particular guys in college basketball. It's mainly tight ends and defensive ends. They look for that 6'6" undersized power forward that's about 240, 250 and say, yeah, go ahead and put your big ass on the line right there.
Make him a tight end and make it work. But
Baby. Like Big Baby probably would have been great in football. They'd be looking for big guys like
would have been great as like a nose tackle or something.
So would Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah, because they could be great on the end. But go ahead, guys.
I think if he got the training and he actually did play for a while, I think he would have been able to do it because of just his physical stature. But he stopped playing when he was 10 years old. He ain't been hit he ain't been hit by no
Oh,
refrigerators
no, that'll
in a
be the
long
deciding
time.
thing.
Like,
That'll for sure be the deciding thing. That slant route across the middle
yeah,
is gonna
like,
be the thing that lets you know, do you really want to do this?
that's when I picked up a basketball. I was like, oh yeah,
Exactly.
man.
That's the same thing.
I
And the
got
dude that
one
hit me
hit.
wanted
I
to go
said,
play
yeah,
for the
this ain't
Denver
it for me.
Broncos.
Same.
I
I
think
said,
he
this
would be
ain't.
able to do it. I think basketball players are the most adaptable athletes out there, honestly. Because the speed and agility that you have to have, it's so quick. Like, I think that you can't really mimic basketball and a whole lot of other things, but you can get the technical skills that you need from basketball for almost any sport.
I'm
Yeah,
curious who
if
you
he
guys
has the
feel
training
has
for sure. Go
who
ahead,
do,
my
you,
fault.
who do you think has the better read and react skills? NBA players or football players?
NBA
Ooh, I think it depends on, you know what? I'm honestly gonna
on the
if we're talking about
position.
read and react.
Mhm.
I don't. Cornerback is probably the outside of quarterback. That's more mental, but the defensive back, that has to be the best read and react guy because you're training your body to run just as fast backwards as the guy you're covering that's running fast forward. So you got
Well,
to
you only
be
get
able to, like, shift your hips and read and react to whatever route he's about to run. I feel like that's probably the hardest position to play in football from an athletic standpoint, and especially in terms of reading and reacting. Quarterback, obviously, we know what that is. That's more mental than anything, right? But
I think
it's tough because
it depends
every
on the
position
position.
requires you to read and react, whether it be the
Yeah.
lineman, whether it be the receiver, the linebacker, the defensive back, the safety. It's
Yeah.
tough, man.
We got a lot of people in the chat saying football, 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 football,
I don't
football.
know because even that the only time you're playing like defensive back, you're playing like that. You play a zone most of the time, unless you're playing man up. But that's the reason why there's so many zones in football. So it's just like I think it depends on the position. I would say running back, if anything, is most comparable to basketball because like you're supposed to go through this gap, then it closes up, and you got to do all this other stuff. But basketball, how many times have you been playing and you made a move, but you just reacted to the move? Like you wanted to do a crossover, but somebody came behind, so you just dropped it behind you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the reaction time for basketball, because you have to think so quickly, but you also have to know who's on the court, where they're going to be, what you're going to do, how you're going to pass it. Like, yeah, like, and there's more that you have to do. So I think basketball is, no disrespect to football, but I think basketball is more read and react because, and it's put LeBron IQ wise, like where he's at, he thinks of where the next person's going to be before they get there because of the play, because he remembered this play at this time and drops the ball off at that time. So it's like, I think read and react is more for basketball.
I agree. I think it's basketball because it's faster paced, and not just that, but it's also you have to react to so many more things, I think, in a shorter amount of time is really what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree. I'm gonna go football because a football play only lasts a few seconds. You know what I mean? It's literally a few seconds and that play is over and you're back to the huddle. Where in basketball, you got a whole 24-hour shot clock. You may be on the left side, you may be on the weak side, you may not be involved in the play. A whole play is going on one side of the field, and you may not be involved in it in a minute. When you're in football, that ball hikes. I mean, think of a quarterback having 20 seconds to determine what he's going to do. That quarterback got about
He definitely plays best football.
3 to 5 seconds. And no, that's crazy. You know, in football, 3 to 5 seconds plays over. So if you're like lined up, if you're a lineman, we can go through every position. If you're a lineman and you miss your block within a half a second, he's sacking the quarterback, right? On offense. On defensive, you checking the receiver. If he get the first step on you, blow by, touchdown. Like it's football is instantaneous. Where basketball, yes, it's a lot of moving. You're playing both sides, but you can take breaks off. And you guys talk about it all the time when you pick on particular guys that you think ought to retire or come off the bench. So there it is.
I mean, not only that, I feel like basketball player from a hand-eye coordination standpoint, by far, that's us. All right, we got to be, our right hand has to be just as good as our left. Not to mention, you got to be able to have hand-eye coordination when it comes to handles, footwork, the type of moves that we do on the court. From that perspective, I feel like we got that down pat. But read and react, I got to go with football players because, like Chris said, like every possession matters in football. Every down matters. So your read and react skills have to be on point every single play. Whereas basketball, you can fuck up a read. You can fuck up a read in basketball. Why? Because there's so many possessions that it's okay that, okay, I read that wrong. Don't worry. I know better now. Get it back next play. In football, you don't get that motherfucking opportunity. That one play could be the difference between you making the playoffs, not making the playoffs, winning the Super Bowl, not winning the Super Bowl, whatever the case may be.
That's
like
in every sport.
It just matters more in football because there's so little margin for error.
Exactly. Aaron,
that's in every sport.
No, it's not. You ain't listening to what Aaron's saying. Aaron cooking right now. It's football. The score is 21-14, right? There's a couple of points. You know what I mean? Like you miss a read and you get beat, that's a touchdown. You miss a read and get dunked on, that's a play. That's a possession, right? You can get
a backdoor cut and get dunked on. Like, what do you mean? And you lose by 2 points. 1 second left.
Basketball, they say have a short memory, Kyle, because the next possession is immediately happening as soon as you make a mistake. In football, you don't get that short memory.
But then when you're watching film and you watch film and say, y'all missed 15 layups, that's 30 points you left on the court and you lost by 2. Like, it's the same exact thing. What are you talking about?
Now, imagine 15 misreads in a football game. Guess what the score is?
70.
Exactly.
There's 1,000 misreads in a football game. Every single game. You have 10 other players.
If that's the case, then why are the scores so low?
Because it's a different type of game. It is a slower paced game.
Yeah, because there's so little margin for error because there's less possessions. You can make a wrong read and react wrong in basketball all the time, and it may not affect the outcome of the game. You miss one little fucking read wrong. You read it wrong, you react wrong, and the game is over. That's it.
It's because the faster pace because it's a smaller court. It's a smaller field. 100 yards, you can't kick a field goal from 100 yards, but you can shoot from 94 feet. So that's what I'm saying. It's a faster play. It's a faster play game. Yes, I did. That's what I'm saying.
No,
where's that coming?
That's what I'm saying. There are so many different things that you can. There's so many issues. Like it is short. It's a slower paced game. I don't see the argument.
Let me say this, Chris. I'm gonna ask you: if you commit 7 turnovers in basketball, is that really a big deal?
No, I mean you're going to average.
Commit 7 turnovers in football. Is that a fucking big deal?
Line up, Axel.
Exactly. It's not the same.
What? I'm sorry. I was talking shit to Axel. What'd you say?
I said if you commit 7 turnovers in basketball as a team, or hell, even as an individual, is that a big deal?
Not a big deal. It's going to be as a
it's
team.
Not a big deal to have 7 turnovers. What are y'all talking about?
As a team,
I'm asking you: is it a big deal in basketball if you, as a team or an indivival, have 7 turnovers?
Let's go with the team. So
I was going to say,
you're not playing anymore.
Let's stick with the team.
Let's stick with the team.
7 turnovers as a team in basketball. That's probably your average. 7 turnovers in football, you're getting blown the fuck out.
You're getting
you're
fired
not, because the other team has to do the same thing. It happens all the time. We just watched the Super Bowl where it was a low scoring game because neither one were scoring. It was just a bunch of defensive game. Like there's 2 sides.
So take that game. Hold on, take that game
and 0 turnovers,
and then have one crazy mistake, and it blows the whole thing open. You have a crazy
about anymore. This is just wrong. I just think y'all wrong. I just think y'all wrong.
You're just wrong in your thinking. That's all.
No, that's not true. Because y'all keep on making it sound like if a mistake in basketball is not equal to a mistake in football. I don't understand why y'all don't feel that way. As basketball players, as entirely NBA, you're saying that a mistake in basketball is not a big mistake. 7 turnovers is at least 14 points.
Who says
7 turnovers is at least 14 points?
No, what makes you think every turnover is going to turn into a point? You're insinuating that every turnover in basketball leads to a point.
I mean, y'all
like every turnover in football leads to a touchdown.
That's the same thing y'all just insinuated.
No, I didn't. Let me finish. I just said you're insinuating that every turnover in basketball leads to a point. That would be like me saying every turnover in football leads to a touchdown. I never said that one time. I'm saying the margin for error in football is a lot slimmer than it is at basketball because every possession, every down matters, right? Which means a turnover is more detrimental to the team that commits it in football because you have so few possessions. In basketball, there's hella possessions. You have all the margin of error to make a mistake, and that's okay as long as you don't do it in crunch time or critical moments. In football, you don't get that. You commit 3 turnovers in the first quarter, the game's over.
Got him. That's assuming
you can do that in basketball.
That's assuming. What are you talking about? All right, now I'm done. I can't do it. We're going to circles.
All right. Exactly great debate. I love it, Chris. Oh, go ahead.
No.
Please,
beautiful.
Ashley, I need some help.
Don't come to his rescue, ass. The comments is wearing his ass out right now. Everybody's killing Murph.
Damn, Murph, you down 21-0, huh?
Just because you loud don't make you right. Y'all are wrong with what y'all said. We talk about it after when we do our debrief. Y'all are wrong. like y'all are just wrong.
All right, great stuff. I love it. Chris, do you have any motivation you want to give us before we sign off?
This fucking guy. You got to figure out. You got to get your timing together, dude. We doing it? We ain't doing it. I mean, what are we doing?
We talked about it on the after call last week.
Man,
I said save it for.
Yeah, we'll have to save it. Oh, I can always give us one. Say fuck me for it.
Oh, I love you, but fuck you.
All right. I got one real simple. Real simple. Very simple quote. We either make ourselves happy or miserable. The amount of work is the same.
That's a thought jerker right there. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. I love it. On that note, we're going to sign off and leave everyone with this one quote here, which says, Kyle, the only loud one. Thank you for tuning in to Entirely Media this night. Well, this evening. Thank you so much. Sorry again for being for being late. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, and ask us questions. We are big on that because we're trying to build a community. With that being said,